You won't believe the tea we're spilling today, from secret breakups to shocking lies. This is Unreal Tea. Hit subscribe before the drama starts. Welcome, everyone. Sister Wives Bombshell, Janelle's 401k betrayal and Robyn's secret empire. What if your ultimate act of love turned out to be the very thing that caused your world to crumble? What if you referred to someone as sister and they took your sacrifice and used it to construct her own empire and excluded you from it in the process? Janelle Brown sacrificed everything, her savings, her retirement, her safety net, all for the promise of family cohesion. But while she was handing over her future, Robyn Brown was quietly building a personal empire behind closed doors. She didn't just benefit from Janelle's generosity. She used it to secure luxury, isolate herself, and become the center of Cody Brown's world. Today, we're peeling back the polished TV surface to reveal a story of betrayal, favoritism, emotional manipulation, and the collapse of sisterhood. This is the sorrowful reality behind Janelle's 401k sacrifice, Robyn's strategic manipulations, and the breakdown of a family once a symbol of plural harmony. Hold on to your seats. This tale will rock all you thought you knew about sister wives. Janelle Brown has always been the intellectual and backbone of the Brown family. With spreadsheets in one hand and faith in family cohesion in the other, she was the glue that kept it all together when everything else seemed to be coming apart at the seams. So when the Browns had to purchase homes in Las Vegas, it was Janelle who rallied, only in the most selfless, heartbreaking manner imaginable. She liquidated her 401k, her retirement fund, her life savings. Poof, gone. Like that. Just like that. Not for a business. Not for her own children's future, but to keep her polygamous family intact. To Janelle, this was not about money. It was about love. She felt so deeply committed to the concept that no wife should be left behind, that all of them should bear the burden equally, that she gave up her future without hesitation. But at what price? Catastrophic. Because those she counted on to have her back didn't. Not truly. Not when it counted most. Behind the blubbering and shaking voice, Robyn Brown was constructing something else. Something for herself. On television, she wept over oneness and love. Off television, she retreated. Alone. And moved into a $2 million mansion, the very fantasy Janelle believed she was investing in for all of them. While Janelle worried over every dollar, Robyn glided above it all in designer jackets and emotional safety bubbles. It wasn't only unfair. It was a betrayal that tore the Brown family apart at its foundation. And speak of that house, the one that Robyn got when the others struggled for rentals and settled for secondhand furniture, a $2 million estate, one that came mostly from sacrifices Janelle and the others made. Janelle was actually residing in an RV on Coyote Pass. Robyn, bundled in a $1,000 Canada Goose coat, drinking tea in comfort, unsullied by the turmoil surrounding the family. Janelle thought she was investing in a dream. What she was actually doing was funding Robyn's luxury and Cody's indulgence. As Christine and Janelle fought to keep the traditions going, to unite kids, to have holidays that had once meant togetherness, Robyn and Cody edged further away. Robyn said she loved family moments, but she never came. Not really. Her children became strangers to their siblings. The other wives' houses became quiet. Mary's once magnificent decorations faded into loneliness. Christine's dinners were no longer celebratory feasts, but empty reminders of what was lost. And the emotional damage? Devastating. Janelle didn't just lose money. She lost the family she risked everything for. The traditions, the togetherness, the shared sisterhood. Lost. Robyn didn't just push people away. She rewrote the story so that she became the victim, the misunderstood one, the tearful heroine in a saga that she secretly dictated. Then there was Cody. Rather than juggling husband and father to several households, he took on the task of safeguarding Robyn's emotional well-being. He judged his sons as immoral while denying his own history. He called for loyalty while surrendering his heart and the family wallet to one wife. Robyn's calculated vulnerability empowered her. Each tier orchestrated Cody further. And Cody? He trailed behind, even if it took him destroying the very family he vowed to protect. When Christine eventually walked out, it wasn't because of a loss of love. It was because she saw that love wasn't enough in a family where loyalty was a one-way trip. By the time the audience realized the disequilibrium, it was too late. The dream was already over. Cody and Robyn didn't just distance themselves emotionally and economically, they destroyed the Browns. Families vary, self. And Janelle, who gave the most? She watched it all disintegrate, future lost, legacy abandoned, stood there. And that makes this tale not only sad, but infuriating. Because Janelle didn't lose only her retirement money. She lost her trust, she lost her family, she lost the dream she worked for decades to build. And Robyn? She got the house, the money, and the man. All the while faking like she was the one who got left behind. This is not drama. This is a masterclass in manipulation and favoritism. A backdoor betrayal smothered in designer jackets and tightly constructed camera angles. It's the tale TLC did not want you to watch. Now let's ask the tough questions. Was this always Cody and Robyn's plan? Did they stealthily redefine the family so they could reign supreme at the center? Were the other wives ever truly part of the plan? Or did they serve only as stepping stones to Robyn's ascension to power? It's obvious now. Robyn didn't just marry into the family. She became the family. At least in Cody's eyes. And that left Janelle, Christine, and Mary holding on to something that no longer existed. It's a heartbreaking discovery. One that leaves us with more questions than answers. But here's what we do know. Janelle Brown gave everything. Robyn Brown stole it. And Cody Brown stood by and let it occur, so now we leave it in your hands. Do you think Janelle's sacrifice was admirable or foolish? Was Robyn's action protective or predatory? And where does Cody's responsibility start and end? Let us hear from you in the comments. Your voices count. Because if this tale teaches us something, it's that silence lets betrayal fester. We saw the fissures. We watched it crumble. But now it's time we tell the truth. Imagine sacrificing everything, your fortune, your house, your future, for a dream that was always only in someone else's eyes. Now imagine waking up in an RV without running water, while the man you had helped create a life for basks in a mansion that was purchased using your sacrifice. That was the life of Janelle Brown. As she camped on the rough terrain of Coyote Pass, alone, fighting stern winters and her own fears, Robyn Brown lived in comfort, covered by designer wraps, drinking from crystal, and feigning victimhood on national television. What became of unity? What became of justice? Now we reveal the appalling disparity, the changing dynamics, and the unvarnished truth about how Janelle's sacrifice turned into her silent agony, while Robyn ascended the throne of comfort. The relocation to Coyote Pass was intended to be a new beginning, an opportunity for both wives to construct their dream house, finally having a stake in the promised land. But for Janelle, it was a reminder of all she had lost. With her 401k already gone to fund the Las Vegas relocation, Janelle had nothing. No down payment, no solid plan, no backup. So what did she do? She purchased an RV. It wasn't glamorous, it wasn't cozy, and it certainly wasn't equitable. Janelle, who had sacrificed her retirement to keep the family intact, now had to live off-grid, while Robyn, who had brought debt and division into the family, reaped the benefits of being Cody's legal wife. Let's parse this. Janelle resided in a trailer on raw land. No plumbing, no working heat, no stability. In the meantime, Robyn moved into a 4,300 square foot, $2 million Flagstaff house with views, fireplaces, and every luxury money could provide. And the irony? That property Janelle slept on was meant to belong to her. Her future. Her reward. But without the resources to build upon it, it was nothing more than a pipe dream. Worse, Cody hardly ever came by. Janelle spent holidays alone, celebrating with her kids from the crowded confines of a trailer, while Cody remained cozied in Robyn's mansion. He said logistics got in the way. He attributed weather, regulations, and his other duties. But the reality was less complicated. He had picked where he preferred to be. Robyn not only remained quiet, she justified the disparity. She claimed she never requested more, never requested special treatment. But the truth is louder. When the family discussed constructing on Coyote Pass, Robyn would not have to give up. She objected to moving into a smaller house, stating it wouldn't be fair to her kids. But wasn't it unfair that Janelle had to do that for her own children? Janelle struggled to remain tough. She shared smiling pictures of RV living, spoke of being in touch with nature, and attempted to frame it as an adventure. But the fans were not fooled. They noticed the sorrow in her eyes, the struggle in her voice, the hurt of knowing she had become nothing more than a footnote in a family she had helped create. And Cody? He spun the story. He began referring to Janelle as independent to a fault, holding her responsible for the repercussions of sacrifices he had urged. He implied she'd made the RV lifestyle a rebellion of sorts, as if she'd had choices, as if she hadn't already sacrificed everything. It wasn't just emotional abandonment. It was a rewriting of history to accommodate a new truth, a truth in which Robyn was first and the rest needed to scramble. Let us be honest. Janelle's RV was not a symbol of freedom. It was an emblem of her displacement. The woman who used to hold the books, crunch the numbers, and battle for fairness was now reduced to a shadow, parked alone on property she helped purchase. Property that was supposed to be home. And as Janelle coped, Robyn prospered. With Cody by her side nearly full-time, Robyn dominated the family dynamic. Every major decision began and ended in her house. From the allocation of resources to the timing of family gatherings, nothing moved unless Robyn approved. Even Janelle's ideas for developing Coyote Pass were met with passive resistance and Cody's excuses. Robyn claimed she wanted the family to be close, but her actions built walls, emotional, financial, physical. She invoked her legal marriage as a fig leaf, implying her role deserved special treatment. And Cody? He echoed those rationalizations, doubling down on the disparity. Janelle's kids noticed the disparity. Gabe and Garrison specifically started calling it out in public. They questioned where Cody was, challenged his priorities, and were subjected to emotional cutoff. Cody accused them of disrespect, but the reality was they saw what their mother couldn't speak. They witnessed the betrayal. They witnessed their mother surviving and Robyn's children living in comfort. And they were enraged. So was the audience. Social media went wild with sympathy for Janelle, dubbing her the real matriarch, the backbone, the heart. Fans pleaded with her to leave, to take back her life. And for the first time, Janelle began to hear. She began to doubt her allegiance, to question if the dream she sacrificed everything for ever existed. Coyote Pass was never simply land. It was to be the legacy, the promise that all those years of sacrifice would not be for nothing, that the family would at last live side by side, in harmony. But that dream, like so many before it, was yet another monument to favoritism. As dust settled and RV tires buried themselves into Arizona red dirt, Janelle was left alone, strong but shaken. Her sacrifice was certain, her pain inevitable. And Robyn's peace? A bitter reminder that sometimes the people you trust most construct their castles from the ashes of your dreams. What then when the adhesive finally breaks? When the woman who smiled through deception realizes she's had enough? Christine Brown's exit wasn't simply another wife departing, it was the earthquake that destroyed it all. And while the world witnessed Christine's departure, Janelle was at a fork in the road. Would she accompany her best friend into freedom? Or remain behind within a system that only served one woman? Robyn? In this explosive new chapter, we reveal how Christine's dramatic departure not only revealed Robyn's manipulation and Cody's hypocrisy, but also awakened Janelle to the heart-wrenching reality of her position in the family. Buckle up, because this is the moment everything began to fall apart. Christine leaving wasn't spur of the moment. It was a slow, burning build. Years of suffering and silence, being emotionally neglected, and seeing the rules get rewritten to benefit Robyn all finally came to a head. She gave it all to Cody, her youth, her love, her loyalty, and all she received in return was cold shoulders and broken promises. But what finally made her leave was when she realized that her children suffered too. Family was more than just a name for Christine. It was support, laughter, connection. But she increasingly found herself alone, raising her kids on her own, getting nothing but criticism in return. The last straw? Cody not traveling for their daughter Isabel's surgery. That wasn't bad parenting, that was a betrayal so deep it cut through all his excuses. Janelle saw all of this. She watched her nearest sister wife fade day by day until she finally broke the chains and walked away. And even though Janelle struggled to remain impartial, struggled to hear both sides, Christine's departure cut close. It made her confront the questions she had been avoiding for years. Why is Cody only ever completely himself at Robyn's house? Why do we continually sacrifice while Robyn remains unscathed? Is this a family at all, or merely a hierarchy disguised as love? Janelle started questioning everything. Her sacrifice, her life in an RV, her children's pain, her own quiet hurt. Sending Christine away wasn't just painful, it was freeing. Because for the first time ever, Janelle beheld another path. She beheld a life free of begging for love. A life where she didn't need to defend her worth. Cody, on the other hand, couldn't abide by Christine's strength. He labeled her as disloyal. He accused her of breaking up the family. But in reality, Christine's exit revealed how weak the family actually was. Without her cooperation, the facade fell apart. And Cody's partiality towards Robyn became irrefutable. As Christine gathered her belongings, Robyn bawled on camera, proclaiming she was devastated. But audience members weren't deceived. Robyn's tears seemed staged, calculated. She wasn't grieving sisterhood lost. She was grieving control lost. Because Christine leaving meant Robyn's dominance was no longer unchallenged. And Janelle? She began to move. At first slowly, tactile changes in tone, increased time with Christine, more direct questions to Cody. Then came the flashpoint. A family meeting turned ambush. Cody called out the kids for disrespect, shamed Janelle for not supporting him, and doubled up on his commitment to Robyn. Janelle, who had stood up for him for years, lost it. "I am not going to apologize for having independent kids," she declared. "And I'm not going to sit here while you rewrite history making yourself the victim." The room was silent. Even Robyn was shaken. From that point on, Janelle no longer pretended. She no longer reported for a job that earned her nothing but heartache. She leaned on Christine. She reestablished a connection with her children. She quit censoring her mouth and began guarding her truth. This was not merely about walking out of a marriage, it was about taking back a life. Cody did not do well. He attempted to shame Janelle, telling her she was betraying him. But like Christine, Janelle would no longer bear that guilt. Her kids needed her. Her spirit needed her. And the dream she sacrificed everything for? It was dead. The world watched in amazement. Fans flocked to Janelle's side, hailing her reserve, her fierce protectiveness, her strength. The woman who once sat inside an RV with a smile stood erect now with flames in her eyes. And alongside her, Christine, no longer the misfit but the pioneer. Robyn, on the other hand, started to unravel. Her world, previously sheltered by Cody's blind devotion, now started to crumble. With two wives out of the way, the cameras turned to her. Every contradiction, every tear, every declaration of togetherness was now open to analysis. And the cracks started to appear. The Brown family wasn't merely evolving, it was blowing up. And Robyn's meticulously constructed image no longer invincible. That quiet departure of Christine's had unleashed a revolution. Janelle spoke up. The children told the truth. And the audience? They took sides. The plural marriage fantasy was over. The age of truth had begun. What if the quietest person in the room had the deepest wounds and the largest secrets? Mary Brown has kept silent long enough. She remained when all else departed, clung when her heart was shattering, and swallowed years of rejection and public humiliation. But now, she's telling the truth. And what she has to say about Robyn's manipulation, Cody's abandonment, and her own emotional trauma will topple everything you believed you knew about the Brown clan. This is the reckoning. This is the deconstruction of a tale constructed on silence, favoritism, and control of emotions. In this bombshell follow-up, We lift the veil on Mary's years of silent agony and reveal how Robyn methodically wiped out all other wives from Cody's universe, leaving only her behind. Mary was the original wife, the woman who trusted Cody before fame, the show, the empire. She laid the groundwork, and she got the least time, the least affection, the least voice. When Robyn came into the picture, everything started to change. Initially, Mary opened her arms to her. She viewed Robyn as a kindred spirit, someone who would introduce softness to the family. They laughed, bonded, had late-night conversations. But that sisterhood soon didn't exist. Gradually, Robyn started to distance herself and Cody from the rest of the family. It began with secret chats. Then came inside jokes Mary was not privy to. Then came the decisions taken without her. Mary was no longer consulted. Her presence begrudgingly accepted. The emotional dip took its toll when Mary and Cody's love life dissolved completely. He stopped visiting, stopped calling. On television, he claimed there was no chemistry. Off television, he just disappeared. And when Mary tried to reach out to mend what had been broken, Robyn was there acting like a peacekeeper, but subtly reinforcing the distance. One of the most painful moments came when Cody openly admitted that he no longer considered himself married to Mary. The cameras rolled, Mary's face broke. And Robyn? She cried. Not for Mary, but to signal her emotional overload, redirecting the sympathy back to herself. That's Robyn's gamebook. Vulnerability is a weapon. Any wife who shows hurt is a danger to Robyn's emotional well-being. Any criticism? A personal attack. And Cody? He swallows it hook, line, and sinker every time. Mary started to withdraw. Her once beautifully decorated, cozy home was silent. Holidays passed without family gatherings. She prepared dinners no one came to. She decked out trees no one assisted in trimming. She smiled for the cameras, but the pain showed. And then came the realization. She was no longer in the picture. Christine had departed. Janelle was distancing herself, but Mary, she was stuck. Not because she was pathetic, but because she held on to hope. Hope that loyalty would prevail, that history counted, that Cody would recall their origins. But Robyn had recast the story. She portrayed herself as the family savior, the one and only who ever cared about being together. She positioned Christine as unfaithful, Janelle as argumentative, and Mary as emotionally unstable. It wasn't gaslighting. It was deliberate erasure. Mary finally started to wake up. It was in that odd flash of brilliance she uttered. It's not that Cody doesn't love me. It's that no one will fight for me. That was a truth that slayed. Mary was fighting in vain. Fighting for a marriage that died long ago. Fighting for a family that had moved on. And meanwhile, Robyn played the long-suffering victim, keeping Cody's eyes firmly fixed on her. Fans noticed the cracks. They implored Mary to get out, to restore her pride, to cease allowing herself to be the family pariah. And gradually, Mary started to listen. She began taking trips by herself, posting affirming messages, hanging out with friends who weren't part of the family. And the further she moved into herself, the tighter Robyn's hold appeared to become. Because Robyn understood, if Mary walked away, the truth would leak out. And the methodically built house of emotional cards would fall. And now, that falling is taking place. Mary is no longer quiet. She's no longer holding out for permission to talk. And each revelation of truth eats away at the fiction Robyn so meticulously cultivated. Cody is at a crossroads. His home is no longer filled with wives, but darkness. His children cry out. His fans revolt against him. And the woman he had once declared his first love now stands alone, firm and sharp-eyed, posing the one question that torments him. How did we go from everything to nothing? This family's drama is far from over. So smash like if you're talk team wives, subscribe for the next explosive update, and drop a comment below. Who do you think will win?